You got to tell me, like, that big environment, GPB, you're playing Buford, who everybody reveres as, number one team in the state. It's 10,000 plus people there, major colleges are there. Ryan Day's there. I think Kirby Smart was there. Just walk me through how that environment was and how was it playing in the kind of game like that?
It was really exciting. I would say that's the most funnest game I've ever had this whole season, probably my career actually. That was like it was just the environment from both sides. It was like there was the side that was booing, and then there was the side that was cheering us on, and it was crazy because there was people lined up on the fences. They had gates, and people were jumping fences to get in. And on the sideline, you'd see all these big time head coaches at D1 colleges that are winning national championships. But it was like, and then when we'd score, the whole crowd boo at us, and it was fun. Like we all had an amazing time there, even though it didn't come out the way we wanted to. It was really exciting.
Nobody believed me, but I predicted it. I was like, okay. I was like, they got the ball back. I said, Mill Creek's gonna go down here. They're gonna score a touchdown. I said, game winning pass from Hayden Clark. You do it. You throw it to Mikael Wood. Just tell me how that moment was specifically in the Corky Kell. And as a second follow up question, what kind of chemistry have you kind of developed with Mikael Wood and Brendan Jenkins?
So it's been crazy because off season we also do like 7-on-7 as a high school, and after practice from those 7-on-7s we do nonstop route running at certain environments, and then we also do these drills at practice every day where it's our 2-minute drill. So when shit gets wild, when stuff gets
No, you're
wild,
good.
stuff gets like chaotic, and we have to drive it down the field quick because we need that extra need the points or before the court something ends. We practice that every week. Every week we just drive it and just do it and consistently get to our spots, look at the play, get it called out, and let's go. And so that was a really big key factor because we knew we had to get that done because how close of a window it was in that game. And it was back to back, just score after score on both sides of the ball. So we knew we got it together on the sideline. I was like, hey, we practice this every week, this all summer, all season. So yep. We drove down, and then I saw, since we were driving it down, Jamal Anderson had a really good catch on that guy that got us the first down. And the defense was kind of chaotic at that point, and they weren't ready, and we rushed to get set. And then that's what opened it up for Mikael and that vertical right in that whole shot.
And how is it being coached by Josh Lovelady? And I've heard, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard that he is very analytical kind of coach. Like you guys incorporate analytics, which you don't really use a lot on the high school level. How is it? Kind of without revealing too much, what's his kind of coaching strategy with you guys as a whole?
He's a really good coach. He's fun to work with because he knows a lot as his level too, because how long he's been in the coaching game, and he played college football, so it's been good. And then also analytics, we'll kind of sit down in the coach's office and really see what percentages have they beat us on where we didn't get that playoff, where were we missing, what happened that made that play not work. And then we also look at what plays do work against certain defenses. And so we kind of like build up. And then with the analytics, it helps because we can see our habits. What are habits that people might catch on that we might have to switch up in?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk with Naj. Today I have Mill Creek quarterback Hayden Clark. I'm going to have him kind of introduce himself. Me and him going to get into it a little bit. He was able to, break the career completions in his last game. He threw for 4 touchdowns against Dacula. A quarterback that's, I think, again, slept on, but he's continuing to prove that he's very good, very elite at the position. And we're going to kind of get into it. So go ahead and introduce yourself to us, man.
So I'm Hayden Clark. I'm out of Gwinnett County, Georgia. I'm from Mill Creek High School. I'm class of 2023.
Yes, sir. So for you, Hayden, right, coming into this season, obviously last year you guys had that, that quarterfinal finish in Milton. Is there anything you remember from that game, any takeaways that you kind of worked on in the offseason to kind of prepare you and kind of where you guys are right now?
I knew a lot of the guys last year, they were young. So I knew we had a really good shot coming back this year strong because I still had the chemistry with the guys. But the biggest thing I wanted to work on was hitting the deep shots and then when they needed to be hit. And then also my pocket presence when I had a run I could escape, because that Milton game we got rushed a lot they had really good DNs, I remember. And so I was trying to work on my elusiveness in the backfield as well, keeping my eyes downfield.
Got you. And we're seeing that too. I got to tell the tape dropping on Hayden actually a little bit later on tonight. So you guys definitely stay tuned and check that out. That'll be very good. But yes, I've seen that in your huddle tape. It seems like you have a lot more athleticism and explosiveness kind of this year, just getting out of the pocket, extending plays. getting downfield. I was going to actually ask you that. Was that something where you worked on? Or did that kind of come naturally?
I've always had that, but I really emphasized it in the off season. I've been working with Drew, which is one of Caleb Downs' footwork and speed trainer. So I've been working with him all off season, trying to get quicker in certain aspects.
Got you. And then last year, man, you threw for 2,065 yards, 19 touchdowns, really good season from you, and then how's the progression, like what you worked on the offseason, kind of, the footwork and things like that. What other things kind of help translate to this year on the field? And we're kind of seeing you hit, actually not kind of, we are seeing you hit those deep shots down the field in that Buford game and things like that. So what kind of, you worked on the offseason that's kind of helped to right now?
So a lot of off season, I got the guys to go out. We'd always like train. We work on certain passes, and I do certain route concepts that we had in our concept schemes, and I'd work on like people. I just grab someone to rush me from different angles, and like being able to find them downfield. So we got chemistry when the season started. We'd have chemistry.
Got you. And then, for you, man, how cool was it? It's being you're on national TV. You break the career completions record with 22 completions in that game against, Norcross. Game was close first half, but you guys ran away with the second half. Just how cool of accomplishment was that for you?
It was really nice. I was really thrilled about that. I didn't know it at the time. I was just having a fun time. It was a really fun game. It was just like left and right. I was connecting, and I always had an answer for what they gave me, and for it to be on ESPN just was like really excited for me.
Got you. And then for you, man, just kind of describe that moment. I feel like every kid has it. Like, hey, I want to play football. What kind of that moment when you were a kid just kind of won you over? Like, yeah, that's what I want to do when I get older.
Yeah, when I before the game, I was like, dang, like we're really gonna be on ESPN. And then like after it, I was just like, I was seeing all the highlights getting posted on Twitter. It was crazy. Like I remember, Sports Center overtime. It was a lot of stuff getting posted, and I was really excited about it.
Got you. And then, for you, obviously, I feel like every athlete has a hated drill and kind of a drill they love. What's kind of that hated drill for you when playing football? Which one is the one you kind of like love to do?
Oh, like a drill before the game.
Yeah, drill before, or even in practice.
One of mine is like having like upfield shoulder like pressure, like a DN coming over the shoulder, and I act like I'm going out down and roll out and then like plant and get the ball out deep.
Okay, so you like that drill. Okay, okay, cool. And I saw that you participated in I think it was a camp or an event over the past, I think, week or two. How did that kind of go for you? What are some things you kind of worked on there?
It was it Elite 11
I
or
believe it
V2?
was, yes.
Elite 11 was good. I love going there, competing with the guys all across the southeast, and then there's some from up north as well. But it really brings like there's coaches from everywhere, from the west, north, south, east. All the coaches, they always have something you could. There's always something you can pick out of them that you can put in your own like I'd say tool belt in a way. Because I learned a lot, like different evasive movements, how what to do in different progression reads, how to break defenses down, and there's a lot of things you can learn from it. I really enjoyed it being out there with the
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, it looked like you was having some fun. I seen a couple of videos of you, and you're pretty high up there. So, for you, man, what do you enjoy most kind of about playing the quarterback position?
I love being having the capability of being the leader on the team, and that I got all eyes on me, and I feel comfortable reacting in certain things that happen during the game, which I know a lot of people will break down and they wouldn't know how to react to it. And I'm comfortable enough where I will react and know how to positively help the team in those situations.
Got you. So, and with quarterback, you're more so of the leader, correct? Like you kind of have the command of the offense. You're kind of dictating where the ball is going to go. You're the distributor, the point guard. So, you kind of like some quarterbacks you'll see, even professional college, they'll take kind of that back seat, let somebody else be a leader, running back, or kind of that sole person. Are you kind of that sole person for your team, or you kind of more so just like I'll let my play do the talk?
I feel like I'm both in a way. Like the guys, we all talk during the game, but it's like I take command of like getting it started and stuff, and then like we all just have fun at that point because I'm trying to get the ball to everyone, and then also like when I throw it to this guy, then the whole defense shifts to another, and then it leaves another guy open. So it's like we all have fun with it, and we're all athletic enough and talented enough and have enough chemistry with each other. We just like, but we all lead technically in a way.
Got you. And then for you, man, you got to tell me like that big environment, GPB. You're playing Buford, who everybody reveres as, number one team in the state. It's 10,000 plus people there, major colleges are there. Ryan Day's there. I think Kirby Smart was there. Just walk me through how that environment was and how was it playing in the kind of game like that?
It was really exciting. I would say that's the most funnest game I've ever had this whole season, probably in my career, actually. That was like, it was just the environment from both sides. It was like there was the side that was booing, and then there was the side that was cheering us on, and it was crazy because there was people lined up on the fences. They had gates, and people were jumping fences to get in. And then on the sideline, you'd see all these big time head coaches at D1 colleges that are winning national championships. But it was like, and then when we'd score, the whole crowd boo at us, and it was fun. Like, we all had an amazing time there, even though it didn't come out the way we wanted to. It was really exciting.
Right. And then talking about that result in Buford, like, kind of what happened in that game, obviously you guys played them close, some things didn't go your way, but what can you take from that game if you potentially have to face them again come, state playoff time or the state championship or semifinal round? What can you take from that game that'll kind of help you guys if you have to see them again?
There were just little mistakes that we had. There was some holding calls that cost us some big plays. And it was a little bit of like defense, offense, and special teams. It wasn't just one individual like person that did it. It was a team as a unit. We just had little mistakes, like missed tackles a lot, and then missed throws that could have been big, and like drops and stuff like that. And it was just, there were certain plays that were like little that made a big cost to them. So
Got you.
we're ready if we play them again. We're ready for that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a must-see ticket again, like kind of how it was in the regular season, So, I mean, obviously, too, for you guys, like I noticed the chemistry. I remember seeing you week one. I actually covered your game last year when you guys played Parkview, and you were kind of balling out in that and Corky Kell. But I got to see you guys this year. I mean, that was an incredible game. You guys played Walton, 44-41 victory. Nobody believed me, but I predicted it. I was like, okay. I was like, they got the ball back. I said, Mill Creek's going to go down here. They're going to score a touchdown. I said, game-winning pass from Hayden Clark. You do it. You throw it to Mikael Wood. Just tell me how that moment was specifically in the Corky Kell. And as a second follow-up question, what kind of chemistry have you kind of developed with Mikael Wood and Brendan Jenkins?
So it's been crazy because off season we also do like 7-on-7 as a high school. And after practice from those 7-on-7s, we do nonstop route running at certain environments. And then we also do these drills at practice every day where it's our 2-minute drill. So when shit gets wild, when stuff gets wild,
you're good.
stuff gets like chaotic, and I have to drive it down the field quick because we need that extra, need the points, or before the court something ends. We practice that every week. Every week we just drive it and just do it and consistently get to our spots, look at the play, get it called out, and let's go. And so that was a really big key factor because we knew we had to get that done because how close of a window it was in that game. And it was back to back, just score after score on both sides of the ball. So we knew, and we got it together on the sideline. I was like, hey, we practice this every week, this all summer, all season. So we drove down, and then I saw, since we were driving it down, Jamal Anderson had a really good catch on that guy that got us the first down. And the defense was kind of chaotic at that point, and they weren't ready, and we rushed to get set. And then that's what opened it up for Mikael and that vertical right in that whole shot.
Nice. Basically, man, practice leading to on the field, and you completing the whole shot. You said a lot of chemistry comes from you guys playing 7-on-7s and things like that. Because how long have you guys actually been together? Sometimes you'll see a quarterback will come in, or you'll see a receiver come in, kind of their junior, senior year. But how many years have you, Brendan Jenkins, and even Mikael all been together?
So it's been about 5. I've moved to they were already at Mill Creek. I came to Mill Creek about my 8th grade year, which that year we also won the Blue Trophy, which is like the Gwinnett, and then we also won state that year at 8th grade. But nice. It's been 5 years since 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th. So it's been leading up, and it's the same lineup, same wide receivers that we have. No one's really moved around from any schools. That's played key factors. We grew up together, so it's just there.
Nice. Yeah, you could definitely see it on the field. And it is more of a personal question for you, man. Just, coming into the season, what were some of your personal goals? I mean, obviously some quarterbacks say I want to throw for 2,500 yards or I want to throw for 30 touchdowns, 3,000 passing yards. But what personal goal did you set for yourself coming into the season?
Coming to the season, the biggest one was I was really confident of getting a state championship this year. That was the biggest thing. But technically, I really want to like consistently move the chains when it's third and long. I want to get that first down. I want to consistently move the chains down the field because the yards will come as I do that, keeping us on the field longer and driving down the field with them, and just really reading the defense, like progression reads nonstop, and so really breaking it down, which I feel like I've really done really well this year, keeping the chains moving, getting it in the end zone.
Yep. Now, tell me from your perspective, being a quarterback, what kind of coverages do you see on the high school level? I know college is different. I know NFL is different. I mean, you can see cover three, where you got the three over top playing the zone. You got the cover two safeties high, middle of the field, or run the football. You have the cover one, it's man-to-man coverage, or you got the cover four where safeties are going up top, and then your other two corners are playing up top as well. So for you, what's a lot of coverages you see just playing on the high school level? Do you see any kind of coverages like that? And then for you, what's your favorite kind of coverage to kind of throw against?
So I see a lot. It depends on the team, but I see a lot of cover two and then also cover three and cover one. Those are like the main three that I consistently see on a day-to-day basis. But then there's some schools like Grayson, they run a cloud. So it's like they switch it up. They have a really good defense on that aspect of coverages and zones. But my favorite is probably like cover two and they'll roll sometimes and it's hard for them to readjust, switch when they do cover two and cover four. It's really hard to communicate because it's a high school level. It's not college where they're consistently switched up. So when we have crossing routes, it's hard for them to switch the guys off and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of windows I can hit in those areas.
You could throw those whole shots.
Mm-hmm. And I can check to the wide receiver certain routes on how the defense plays it. So I'm consistent in those type of defensive coverage.
Right. Now you mentioned kind of coming in, after that kind of quarterfinal finish and, things you went to work on and, after that Milton loss, but you said you felt like this team could win state. So what did Coach Josh Lovelady kind of outline for this team coming into spring camp and training and coming into the off season? What were some of those team goals? And obviously, what does Mill Creek want to accomplish before it's said and done?
So we knew we were really talented as a group. Our chemistry was last year. That's what got us so far was our chemistry. We could look at each other and know what we were about to do or what and communicate just through like how our posture and mannerism was to each other. And it was just we knew we had to come into the season with good chemistry, not be like messing around when it's practice time. It's time to get better, make each other better too. Iron sharpens iron consistently. And so we did a lot of that, like a lot of summer training. We did 40-40s, which is crazy. But we just did a lot of that team bonding activity as well. Like after practices, after a really good workout where we were dead, we'd all make sure we all go out to eat together just so we have that team bond. And it's really helped this year, like when stuff gets chaotic and like in the Walton game, you really saw it when someone got scored on, they got each other's back, and then we went out again and got another touchdown. It was just because a lot of people were playing both sides this year, so we knew we also had to have really good conditioning. So it was
that's well said on your end. I've seen some games too, like you said, that Mill Creek and Walton game just went back and forth, and sometimes you'll see players will kind of you do want to challenge other players, but you'll see them kind of getting a confrontation and things like that, and it's not good for the morale. They're arguing with each other, but that's good that you got that kind of camaraderie within the team and that you guys don't argue and things like that.
Yeah.
For you as well, man, how is it being coached by Josh Lovelady? And I've heard, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard that he is very analytical kind of coach. Like you guys incorporate analytics, which you don't really use a lot on the high school level. How is it kind of, without revealing too much, what's his kind of coaching strategy with you guys as a whole?
He's a really good coach. He's fun to work with because he knows a lot as his level too, because how long he's been in the coaching game, and he played college football. So it's been good. And then also analytics, we'll kind of sit down in the coach's office and really see what percentages have they beat us on where we didn't get that playoff, where were we missing, what happened that made that play not work. And then we also look at what plays do work against certain defenses. And so we kind of like build up, and then with the analytics, it helps because we can see our habits, what are habits that people might catch on that we might have to switch up and change. So it's not so easy to read. So it's really helpful, surprisingly, for drawing up plays, making plays in the team room. So
that makes sense. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, that separates you too, because obviously teams are going to have a beat on you with film. They're like, okay, This is their tendency, what they're going to do. But then you can use the analytics as almost a mechanism to kind of go against that? Like, okay, you see this in film, but we're gonna show something else in person.
Yeah, we study the other team as much as we study ourselves. So it's like
Oh,
we find spots and we find what people might if we keep on running up the gap, they're gonna stack the box. All right, now that we think they can do it, we're gonna have plans in case that happens. So
got you. Now, for you, I want to kind of go all the way back. Walk me to Hayden Clark. You're a freshman at Mill Creek. How was it for you kind of coming over? Obviously, you coming off, a high. You won the eighth grade title, state title. How was it coming into Mill Creek ninth grade year? Did you play freshman, JV? Were you straight on varsity? Just how was that kind of progression to become the starting quarterback of varsity for you?
so freshman year when we did summer training, I got moved up to JV and varsity practice. So I was out there with the guys training, lifting, speed and agility, doing those 7-on-7, getting ready for summer plays. And our freshman quarterback at the time left, so I had to stay back down freshman year. So after summer workouts, I went back down and played freshman year. But after our freshman season ended, I got brought back up for playoffs during our varsity year, and I was there as a backup. But it helped because I was on the sideline, and in a playoff environment, it's real like everyone's there. It's a lot of eyes, and so it's really like close. Like everyone's watching the game. If a big play happens, how does the team react? So it was good for me to be in that environment. So by the time I am there, I know how to adapt to it, and I'm already comfortable in that situation. So it's been really helpful, and then I could learn from coaches. What do they see? What's the defense? What are they doing against this coverage? Stuff like that. So it's been really nice.
Got you, and that's kind of made you to the quarterback you are today. And we seen you just continue to develop and get good. So for you, man, just I know certain players they like to talk about it, they don't. But how has just the recruiting process been for you? Have you had any offers? Where ideally would you like to play? And you
Mhm.
know, what has it kind of been like so far?
It's been good. I've been keeping good communications with coaches, especially ones. I have an offer from Reinhardt and Washburn. They're both D2 schools. They're really good. Washburn's out of Kansas, and then Reinhardt's in Georgia. So, but it's been good. I'm keeping communication, and this year it's been good because a lot of people have contacted me from how I played this year. So,
Nice. Who were some of the teams? You don't mind me asking, or some of the schools?
North Dakota State used to talk to me, but one of their big guys committed there, and then I'm talking to a couple good schools that are there. So.
Okay. Okay. Got you, man. And then, for you, kind of more personal question, do you have any favorite collegiate or professional teams you like to watch? And why?
Uh, I like to watch Georgia because my dad went to school there, and I've always grown up in that UGA environment in Athens, and so it's always fun. And I used to go there as a kid. My dad had like season tickets, so we always went down as a family and always watched. And it's just a really fun environment. So I would say that's my, I guess you'd say, favorite team. But
I
yeah.
mean, y'all doing good this year. I mean, okay, let me ask you this, man. What are you thinking about the big game this weekend? I know you know about it in Athens, playing Tennessee. How you feeling about that game, man?
Uh,
The big
I feel
one.
I think Georgia might come on top. I know it's going to be a close game, either team. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on each side. I feel like it comes down to that fourth quarter who's gonna get there. But Tennessee's looking good this year, though. Tennessee's looking really good this year.
Yeah,
So
especially offensively. They got a different beat. Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt and all those weapons he got, they're just looking really good for sure.
I'm
And then
Georgia.
for sure. And then, man, for you, you know, who is somebody you may not model your game after anybody, but if it was somebody out there that you model your game after, like you kind of study a lot in your free time, like I kind of model my game after him. I watch him a lot. I would kind of like to be similar to him. Is there anybody just collegiately, professionally that you ever modeled your game after?
Uh, I look at a lot of quarterbacks and try to pick apart like what do they do, how do they read it. I'll watch them like sometimes like little videos of them like doing film work and how they go through like read defenses and how they break it down and stuff like that. And then certain situations, but really a big one this past 2 years was Josh Allen. Josh Allen's like he's been doing good on both rushing and passing games, and he's a big dude, but he makes a lot of plays happen, and I've been really curious and watching him a lot of how he does it and really studying it.
Got you. And then just a couple more questions, man, before I let you go. For you, obviously, what are some things you mentioned that you wanted to work on, but what's some things like you just think, okay, I just need to hone on this, or I just need to address this, work a little bit more time on this just to kind of get to where I want to be and, where I want to go kind of on the next level?
Yeah, so I always try to find something because there's never a time where I'm getting complacent. I never want to be complacent. I always want to find something I can work on. And so right now I'm working on just reading most of the field as I can, going through progression reads, getting better and quicker at it, and then also pre-snap and post-snap reads. So and when the defense adjusts, when they're trying to bait me into something where they drop back in a different thing, as linebackers do twists and stuff like that, I'm trying to read it. So by the time like I get ready for college, I already be okay with all these different things that the defense might throw at me.
Got you. And then all the games, you obviously don't have to do freshman or sophomore, but just what's been your favorite game you've ever played on the varsity level that you just, if anything, when it's said and done, you'll always remember that game. Just a couple of things that stand out for me.
There's a couple games that really have always stuck with me. I think it was my sophomore year against Grayson. I was starting that game, and it was a varsity game. I think it was Georgia Gwinnett or Peachtree TV. Someone was streaming that game. It was on TV, and it was a really big battle. It was at Grayson. The field was muddy. It was ugly.
Wow.
I remember I got hit, I think, at halftime or something like that, where it was a really big hit, and I think I had a concussion that game. But it was I kept playing in that game and did really good. I didn't get hit a
Wow.
lot, so I wasn't really worried about any big hits after that. But we went into triple overtime, and they were like the ranked team at the time. That was when they won state, I'm pretty sure. So it was an accomplishment for me because how young I was at that time. That was my first year, like actually starting. I held my own against a lot of D1 commits that were on that team in a triple overtime situation.
Right. And does that, like you mentioned, just kind of playing with the concussion, does that, like, you starting to see more technology with it and more people talking about it and kind of the precautionaries of playing football? Does that part of the game worry you at all?
Uh, it does, but people keep on developing new things. But it was it didn't really worry me. It still doesn't really worry me because I'm comfortable. I'm not really taking big hits a lot. I've slid. I do a lot. I trust my linemen, so I don't have to take those big hits. But it really doesn't worry me that much.
Got you. And then for you going into, I think we got one more regular season game for you before we hit playoffs. Is there any team that like on the schedule, like, hey, I want to play them? Is there any team like I don't want to play? Or just like you going just like I don't care who we play. I just want to go out there and play football.
It's I'd say it's both. I don't really care who we play, but I want to play. But it's also there's certain teams out there that I'm like, ooh, I really want to play just so people know like where we stand against them.
Who are some of
And
those teams?
North Cobb's one of them. I really want to play North Cobb, and because I feel like that'd be a really good game. Buford again. I think the second time we play, we'll make those adjustments where they won't be ready for us, and then that's really like the two. And Grayson this year. It's just there's something about playing Grayson I love. It's just a rivalry for me. I don't know why. I just love playing them. So
Got you. That makes sense. And kind of the last question, man, just kind of before we wrap, excuse me, Mill Creek, kind of just tell me like how it is there as a program. How is it going through the hallways there? What really differentiates, them as a program as a whole? We've seen all kind of like those programs like Grayson's always up there, Buford's always up there, Langston Hughes. But now we're starting to see like Mill Creek is in that kind of same category now. So what's been kind of separating Mill Creek kind of from the rest as well and kind of being, differentiating itself from kind of where they were before?
So we usually every morning our workouts start at 6:45 usually almost every morning. And then Fridays we have yoga, which our weight training coach leads us, and we do yoga sessions every Friday morning. And it's really good for the guys reducing injuries. We don't have a lot of injuries this year or last year because of our yoga. We stayed like able to move our flexibility, and we did that also over summer as well. We kept our flexibility up, and it's just I feel like it's a big thing was our chemistry. Not a lot of teams have such good chemistry as we do, and I've noticed that with like knowing like people on different teams. Like, oh yeah, these guys are always arguing. They're really good players, but they're always arguing with each other. Which our guys, our good guys, are the people that don't get in as much. We all have the same chemistry. We all see each other as one and as a full unit. And in the hallways, it's fun. Our environment, they're really we're really big in our community with like football, and so it's like the teachers always like us. We're always nice in the hallway, and it's just a fun environment because we always have highlight clips as well. That we have some video guys like last year it was Andy, this year it's Landon, and they make us highlight videotapes and we play it in our cafeteria when people eat lunch. They'll get to see our video for a part of lunch,
Nice.
which kind of brings the community to our games because we want to have someone where it's like it's going to be fun to watch us play, or if you wanted to play, say maybe next year, you'll want to kind of like bring you to it.
Got you. And this is really the last question, but for you, when it's said and done, what do you want to walk away from this? Your high school. Obviously, I still think you're going to play collegiately. I think you're going to go D1. I think teams are just sleeping on you, but when they start seeing your film and what you're putting out there and how you're going up against upper echelon teams, the offers are definitely going to come. But for you, when you walk away from high school football, what is that one thing you could say, I accomplished that, like this is something I always wanted to do?
I know I can walk away from this game knowing and that there's not one game where I let up on someone. I've gave it all I got each game. I never gave up on it. I don't want it to be a game where I ever gave up on, which I believe I'll never do. So that's one big thing I've always thought about. I was like, I can look back at a game and like, yeah, I never let up on someone or let them catch up or play down to my opponent. I've always tried to do the best of my ability.
Got you. Well, guys, again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Sports Talk with Naj. This is Hayden Clark, Mill Creek quarterback. Who you guys got this real quick? Who you guys got this week before I wrap up?
We got Mountain View is our last regular season at Mountain View.
Got you. So at Mountain View, you can watch Hayden Clark there. I will be dropping a tell the tape on him later on, hopefully tonight. But yep, make sure you guys follow Hayden Clark on Twitter. I'll link that down below and things like that. But again, a quarterback I think is slept on, but he's really different. And you can go look at his film. I also kind of link below the huddle, and he's one of those quarterbacks I think definitely going to be playing D1. So again, Hayden, thanks for joining the show, man. Hopefully to have you on again at some point in the season. I know we're hitting the kind of that stretch, but we'd love to have you on, for those playoff games, when you guys win.
Oh yeah, yes sir. It'd be really nice to come back on.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Thanks, man, and have a good night, bro. I appreciate you.
You too. Thank you.